Hi, my name is Shariah. So today I will present about introduction. So in Malaysia, the Islamic capital market is regulated by the Securities Commission Malaysia. To ensure Sharia compliance, the Sharia Advisory Council was established in 1993. Later in 1999, the Sharia Index was introduced to help investors identify Sharia-compliant companies. Sharia screening stock performance and investor behavior. So investor behavior plays an important role in influencing stock performance. So especially in Sharia-compliance market. The objective of this study are to investigate the impact of Sharia non-compliant risks on stock returns. So this study aims also examine herding behavior and market operation in both Sharia and non-Sharia stocks. It also seeks to analyze the impact of change in Sharia compliance status on stock prices and trading volume.
Hi, my name is Shariah Alfred. My matrix number is GE32003. I'm going to present my part, research questions. First, the study investigates whether herding behavior exists in the Malaysia stock market. Second, it examines the relationship between market operation and herding behavior across both types of stocks. Third, the study analyses how changes in Sharia compliance status. The last one is the study assesses the impact of Sharia non-compliant risks on stock returns in Malaysia with a particular focus on long-term performance. Then, I will explain hypotheses. Based on the literature review and the research questions, the study proposes 5 main hypotheses. First, H1 suggests that herding behavior exists in the Malaysian stock market. Second, H2 states that there is a significant relationship between market operation and herding behavior. Third, H3 hypothesizes that changes in Sharia compliance status affect stock prices. Number 4. H4 proposes that changes in Sharia compliance status influence trading volume. Finally, hypothesis number 5 suggests that Sharia non-compliant risk has a significant negative impact on stock returns.
Hai, nama saya Nur Mirazman dan saya akan membentangkan tentang previous research finding. Okay, dalam previous research finding ni, studies on Malaysia Islamic capital market shows that Sharia compliant list announcement are not passive. Research dilakukan oleh Jamil Hassan dan Busa 2020. Dia mendapati bahawasanya newly included stocks experience positive price increases due to demand from Sharia compliant investors. Okay, for our research cap, kita boleh nampak key point kat sini. Dia punya earlier studies were based on 2013 new Sharia screening rules. And then dia fokus mainly on business activities. Terdapat beberapa rules yang lebih lama yang like strict financial ratio features allowing firms with higher debt exposure to riba compliant in November. Okay, as we can see here, aim of the study is it can be tested if announcements still contain valuable information. Kita measure CAAR for stocks against stock removes, and kita boleh confirm whether inclusion is still positive CAAR.
Now I will explain how our research filled the gap in the previous study. Most early study on the Sharia compliance stock mainly focused on the short-term price reaction after Sharia compliance announcement. Many of this study did not include the trading volume as an indicator of the investor behavior, and theological or Sharia non-compliance risk was often discussed only conceptually, not tested over a longer period. Our study addressed this gap in several ways. First, we examined both stock return and trading volume to better capture how investors actually react to change in Sharia compliance. Next, I will briefly explain our research methodology. This study used an event study approach to examine how investors react to change in Sharia compliance status. The data was collected from the Securities Commission Malaysia from the list of Sharia compliance security, as well as stock price and trading volume data from Bursa Malaysia.
Hi, my name is Kangadran. In this section, I will present the finding and analysis of our study, focusing on how investor behavior impacts the performance of Sharia compliance stock in Malaysia. The primary data of the analysis were collected through a structured questionnaire that assesses various behavior factors such as the overconfident, herding behavior, risk aversion, and Sharia awareness. So the next is the reliability analysis Cronbach Alpha. To ensure the reliability of the data and constructs, we have conducted a Cronbach Alpha analysis which measure the internal consistency of the survey item. The results are summarized in this table. As you can see, the Cronbach Alpha value for the individual behavior construct are as follow. For the factor analysis, next we conduct a factor analysis to explore how different behavior constructs such as the overconfident, herding behavior, risk aversion, and Sharia awareness are related to each other, how they collectively influence Sharia stock performance, and we use the varimax protection for the factor extraction process.
First, we look at the correlation analysis to see which behavior are linked to stock performance. We found that Sharia awareness had the strongest positive relationship with monthly returns, with a correlation coefficient of 0.42. Herding behavior also showed a significant positive link. Importantly, we checked for multicollinearity. To visualize this, you can see here that religious sensitivity, Sharia awareness, and the tendency to follow the crowd, herding behavior move in the same direction as stock returns. Interestingly, risk aversion was the only factor with a negative relationship. Moving on to the regression analysis. We wanted to see how well these behaviors collectively explain market performance. Our model achieved an R-squared of 0.248, meaning these behavioral factors account for nearly 25% of the variance in Sharia stock returns. The ANOVA test confirmed that this model is highly significant, proving that the Malaysian market is influenced by psychological and religious factors. When we break it down by the specific factors, two stood out. First, Sharia awareness is a powerful predictor. The desire for halal investment is a key driver of stock performance. Second, herding behavior is also significant, supporting the idea that investors mimicking each other pushes the prices up. However, overconfidence and risk aversion did not show a unique, significant impact in this specific model.
In conclusion, study examine how investor behavior affects Sharia compliant stock performance. For data use, we have 2 Investor Behavior Survey, FTSE Bursa Malaysia Hijrah Sharia Index. Next, we have key influencer factor, which is herding behavior and Sharia awareness and knowledge. Less impactful factor, which is overconfidence and risk aversion, showed no significant effects on returns. In conclusion, Sharia stock prices are influenced by behavioral and religious. So we have challenges the efficient market hypothesis, EMH. For practical implication, we have investor, fund manager, regulators, and overall. So for investor, we have herding effects, decision, and increased risk. So it combines fundamental analysis with Sharia screening for sustainability. For fund manager, we have Sharia awareness influence investment strategy. So it will monitor Sharia compliance announcement and investor sentiment. For regulators, we ensure clear and consistent Sharia announcement, reduce uncertainty and excessive herding. Overall, better understanding of behavioral and Sharia factor leads to a more stable and efficient Islamic capital market.
Greeting to the lecturer, and I'm Sarah Ganesan. Now I'm going to proceed with my part, which is study contribution and insight in conclusion. This study shows that in Malaysia, Islamic capital market investor behavior and Sharia awareness directly impacts stock performance. Herding behavior creates temporary price pressures, while compliance awareness stabilizes demand. This finding challenges the assumption that market always efficient and provide guidance for investors and policymakers. While our study provides valuable insight, it has limitations. A short data period, reliance on questionnaires, and focus on Malaysia mean the findings may not capture all long-term trends or apply to other markets. Additionally, some behavioral factors and microeconomic influences were not included. That is from me. Thank you.